Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 16, text number 24. Yesho Ashwamedhan Shatam Ajahara Saraswati Pradurabhavi Yatra Shatakratuscharame Vartamane. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. At the source of the river Saraswati, this king will perform 100 sacrifices known as Ashwamedha. In the course of the last sacrifice, the heavenly king Indra will steal the sacrificial horse. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This king Pṛthu will meet Sanat-kumāra, one of the 4 Kumaras, in the garden of his palace compound. The king will worship him with devotion and will be fortunate to receive the instruction by which one can enjoy transcendental bliss. Purport. The word vidhanti refers to one who knows something or enjoys something. When a person is properly instructed by a spiritual master and understands transcendental bliss, he enjoys life. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Sochati Nakankshati. When one attains to Brahman platform, he neither hankers nor laments. He actually partakes of transcendental blissful enjoyment. Although King Pṛthu was an incarnation of Vishnu, he nonetheless taught the people in his kingdom to take instructions from a spiritual master who represents a disciplic succession. Thus, one can become fortunate and enjoy a blissful life even within this material world. In this verse, the verb vidhanti is sometimes taken to mean understanding. Thus, when a person understands Brahman, or supreme source of everything, he enjoys a blissful life. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So King Pṛthu, being the perfect king, is always on a spiritual platform above the 3 modes of material nature, but involved in the management of the modes of material nature, managements of the material world. By virtue of him being situated in Brahman, by virtue of him being situated in his original being as a spiritual being and not as a material being, so every king has to have a spiritual master or spiritual masters who are also situated, who are in Brahmanishta. Are in need of such spiritual masters. The king is in need of such spiritual master in order to maintain his own spiritual purity as a pure representative of the Supreme Lord. Governing the population. So not only for maintaining his purity, but also for taking guidance with respect to governance of his kingdom. As per the wishes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose creation everything is, who has designed the society, who has designed the law of karma, who has designed the three modes of material nature, kala, everything into this material world. So king has to bring forth the will of the Lord by executing his duties, for which he needs guidance from Brahmanas. Being situated in Brahman, he is self-guided also. Paramatma will guide him. But he also needs guidance of the sadhus. So Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, these are the three things that guide the living entity in this material world, whereby he can make his life, as Prabhupada is saying here, enjoyable, spiritually enjoyable, and become fortunate. Enjoy a blissful life, even within this material world. Why is that so? It is so because all the so-called sukha and dukkha in this material world is rooted in misidentification that it is my sukha and my dukkha. I am not the body. So body sukha and dukkha may indirectly affect me, but it is not me. I am Brahman, I am Brahmasmi. I am spirit person. Just like if you are watching a movie and then you are identifying with the emotions in the movie, your world of emotions has become the world of emotions of the movie. Your world of identities have become the identities of the movie. Your likes and dislikes of the movie has become your likes and dislikes. So you transplant the movie world into your mind. And therefore all the sukha, dukkha, feel good, feel bad, everything that is there in the movie, you share. Over and above that, you identify yourself with somebody. You identify yourself with the hero. So the success and failure of the hero, success of the hero gives you pleasure. Failure of the hero gives you tension. Defeat of the villain gives you pleasure. So continuously you are watching the movie and your heart is going through all these rasas. Those rasas, has it got anything to do with you who are sitting in the theater in the seat? Your real home is somewhere else. Probably you came to watch the movie because at home there's full of problems. So that is why in the movie always they give a good ending. See, and in the movie hero always wins. Why? Because in the real life it's full of failure. So when I sit here, I will feel, oh, I am the hero for some time. Finally, he won. So people watch movie to compensate for all their problems in real life. So similarly, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am spirit person. I am not in the movie. My consciousness is in the movie. I am not in the movie. My body is not in the movie. My consciousness is in the bodies of the movie. So as soon as you understand that the sukha and dukkha is because of my identification with this bodily identity as me, or this body person as me. You have a weak body, you are sitting in the theater, you see a strong hero, you identify with him. With the emotions, everything, and then that means you think you are that body person and not this body person. What is this body person? The Brahman has got a spiritual body. And why don't you see your spiritual body? Because your consciousness has to come out of that movie. Unless your consciousness comes out of that bodily centered life of yours and everybody else, all the stories of this material world, it is not possible for us to see ourselves. Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the fundamental spiritual realization, Aham Brahmasmi. Beyond that, first is Brahman quality. I am spirit, not matter at all. This matter world is imitating a spirit world, of which I am part. I am not a character in the movie. I am character in the absolute world as an eternal servant of Krishna. Does not mean if you see the example of movie is a passive movie. You decide something, nothing, movie doesn't change. It's a passive movie. Very, very, very real movie is like this movie of this life. Is interactive. Suppose the movie is interactive, then identification is much stronger, no? In a passive movie, simply you have to accept what the hero does and what does. Suppose in an interactive movie, you say, okay, I am the hero. Then you transplant your will to that character. And just like you do car races, no? So you choose one car and you are the driver. Identification is ready because you are willing. You are saying, move, hit, don't hit, escape, drive. So full light, you get lost into the world fully. Similarly, we identify ourselves with the body and we lead a full life of rasas. So very difficult to come out of it. So what is the way to come out of it? The way to come out of it is you have to act as what you really are, as a servant of Krishna. And still you can run this movie, you run this body also as a servant of Krishna. For Krishna's purposes, you run this body. You don't run this body for body's purposes as me. I am not this body at all. This body's reality is it's an instrument. It's a nimitta. It's an instrument to be used in service of the Lord. So I am not the body. In order to get Brahman realization, it does not necessarily mean that you have to go out of the movie. That is important. When you study analogies, you should be very careful. Otherwise, wrong conclusion you will get. So you don't have to go out of the movie. You act according to your real absolute story that I am an eternal servant of Krishna. In that case, what is the people have desires, everything in this material world. They're all self-centered desires. You adopt the desire of the Supreme Lord for this creation. How one should conduct one's body, bodily activities. What does Krishna say? Desires for awakening oneself, desires for awakening others. These are all real mission. If I decide to build an empire, of people, money, resources, name, fame, everything, that I means what? For my body. Because at the time of death, after that, you have no connection with this empire. You have no connection at all. That means it was all centered around for the body, because you never knew anything more about yourself than that I am this body, falsely. Everything is finished. So that has no meaning. But the very same soul, this very same body, thinks I had to build an empire for Prabhupada and Krishna. It is absolute because it is not centered around you. The personalities to whose pleasure and for whose purpose you have worked is for their real personalities. Srila Prabhupada, as the founder Acharya of this Krishna consciousness movement, is decided to live in this movement, very much aware of his role as a founder and Acharya and guiding all of us. And as a founder and Acharya, he wants to build this Krishna consciousness movement to give shelter to more and more living entities. And this is not Maya. Even in the movie example, there are no souls at all. There's one thing about this movie, there's one real thing in this movie, real souls. There are no real souls. You have to project. The movie example is apt for understanding that in our minds we have created this movie. World is real. There are worlds of material bodies. Material body is real as a material body. But it is an imitation of the spiritual body. the temporary pleasures, everything on this material, at the instant moment it is real. But why it is called unreal? When compared with eternal pleasure, eternal love, it is illusion. It is a look-alike of spiritual body. It is a look-alike of spiritual love. But there is look-alike. It is a look-alike means, something has to be there. Just like if you give half micron or 0.1 micron gold on a copper, it is a look-alike gold jewelry. Look-alike, exactly, it shines like a gold. But what is the stuff? Only 1 micron. Little you scratch, file it, you will see copper. Similarly, sukhas of this world are look-alikes of spiritual sukha. Therefore, that's why we fall for it. You do little filing with jnana, you will see this is all dukkha. Dukkha yonaya. All sukhas in this material world invariably are covered dukkhas. It is designed like that. So that the living entity's innermost taste is for everlasting sukha. And living entity and you can get that sukha only from everlasting objects of sukha. You can feel I have a real gold jewelry only if you have a real gold jewelry. As long as you have a gilded gold jewelry, it is always gilded gold jewelry. From that you cannot, it is not worth of the gold. It's a copper weight. Similarly, the sukhas and dukkhas in this world, even dukkhas, when we have some dukkha, we sometimes, most of the time, the living entities think that it is permanent dukkha. Like sukha we think, so he is so worried. So therefore, some philosophers have said, then, some psychologists, just as all good comes and goes, bad also comes and goes. So don't be very negative. They give that philosophy. Dukkha is there, but it cannot last. It has to go. Sukha has to go, dukkha has to go. Because both are designed to give only a sample, a drop of reality. So the king is situated in Brahman means, just like as giving you example, moment you know that the sukha dukkha is due to my illusion that I am this body, that jnana itself will reduce the intensity, even if you don't realization, no realization. That itself will reduce the intensity of dukkha and sukha. Therefore you become detached. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Emotionally you become detached. Emotion means I. You have taken away I from the body. Just like you are fully detached from another person's pain and pleasure. You may see him suffering, but still you are detached. It is his suffering. So detachment from this The very fundamental detachment from this body, bodily. This is a very fundamental thing that in spiritual life. And attachment to spirit. I am spirit person. What is the characteristic of spirit? What is the characteristic of matter? So the spiritual master, he reduces our dukkha. It says here, then one can become fortunate and enjoy a blissful life, even within this material world. It not only he sees this sukha dukkha as insignificant, he is enjoying positive bliss of being part and parcel of Krishna. So he is having anta sukha. To this anta sukha, that means atma sukha, of being deathless, blissful in nature, in association with the all blissful Lord, in his devotional service. His bliss that I have attained by the mercy of the spiritual master, devotional service, free from bodily karma, fruitive activities and sense gratification, I become free from that. Compared to the anta sukha of my loving devotional service and relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Absolute, all attractive personality, these sukha and dukkha are insignificant. Whether it is there or whether it is not there, it does not matter. Therefore, there is equanimity of the mind. Not that sukha has disappeared, dukkha has disappeared. They have become insignificant compared to what he is enjoying, his relationship with Parabrahman. I am not non-material energy. I am not this material energy. I am non-material energy. Spirit means non-material. But to realize that or to live that, you have to act in that way. And that is sadhana, that is devotional service in practice. So you start relishing your constitutional sukha of being the servant of the greatest, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Mayavadis, they have to say, I am Aham Brahmasmi. In their understanding, the Brahman can never experience sukha or dukkha of this material world. Brahman has no body, Brahman has no concept of sukha dukkha, no varieties. It is pure awareness, like this, nirguna Brahman. But Vaishnavas say, no. Brahman is a person. Brahman has forgotten where to love, whom to love, what to act for, what not to act for. He has forgotten. But potentially Brahman is not simply pure awareness. Brahman is a fundamental Jivatma. Is a Shakti of the Lord, marginal energy of the Lord, is a Vyakti. That is why we are all here as Vyaktis. But we are not this Vyakti, we are Vyaktis who are serving the Lord, servants of the Lord. We are spirit persons. Because we left the service of the Lord, we are trapped into this body person's life. Once again, the spirit person starts serving the Lord exclusively, 24 hours. With every act, he serves the Lord, he pleases the Lord. Finish. He's awake. Self-realization means you have to be awake. You are there. Your self only is there. Even now in conditioned state also, you don't disappear. The pure devotee of Krishna is there. You are there, you are pure devotee of Krishna. You have forgotten and you are dreaming that I am this body, I am part of this material world and trying to enjoy this material nature. So, how this Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati kankshati, how we experience as Vaishnavas is different from the way Brahmavadis, what they mean by na sochati na kankshati. We recognize, Vaishnavas recognize the reality of beautiful creation of Krishna, where there is sukha and dukkha implanted through senses, sense objects. As an experience, yes, it is. It is created by Krishna. Whenever we say Jagat Mithya, we say that the way you the way you see yourself and as a body, and with body as a reference you see the rest of the world, that is Mithya. Jagat is a beautiful creation of the Lord. Even scientists, they get bewildered. Where is all that beauty? You think it's illusion? The laws of nature, the complexity of the brain, human brain. Just like that it has come. Just like we create so many, with technology we create so many experiences, theme park and all those things, experience we create. This world is a theme park created by Krishna. And the theme, what is the theme? Go independently enjoy. Laws of karma, this thing, that thing, this is a theme park. And to do that, if you create a theme park, you have to create robots, which are all clumsy robots. Krishna has created this robot. Biological, psychological, physical robot. Has anybody created a psychological robot? They say humanoids. But that is no... Your soul is in that. That is also all... Nobody has dared to create a biological humanoid. This is a biological humanoid. Somehow we are advanced in physical sciences, so we have physical humanoids with the joints and this, and only they are able to imitate all this body. But the manas, buddhi, ahankara, they cannot. To some degree, yes, artificial intelligence and everything. They cannot create an image. They cannot create, because this body is a superhumanoid. If you add the physical body plus the psychological characters. Because the soul is only a kshetrajna. Soul is not producing thinking, feeling, willing here. Soul is kshetrajna and he is taking decision between this thinking and that thinking, this feeling and that feeling. It is making only choices and then experiencing. So soul does not think, feel, will in this material world actively. It adopts the thinking, feeling, willing of the machine, of this humanoid. Because soul is Brahman. So spiritual masters, spiritual sadhus are very much part of a kingdom king takes help of these sadhus for himself as well as for guiding the society, so that if the living entity wants everlasting knowledge, everlasting identity, everlasting bliss, then they can be guided in the human form of life to achieve that. That is Krishna consciousness. And in that process of achieving, how best to utilize this material energy, including this body, how to conduct this body, how the body should relate with the world as per dharma, all those things are the support system that a king can give to every citizen for achieving his spiritual goals. Just see nowadays the king has no idea at all. His goal is to enable people to discover their true happiness through management of this body, material world, everything. Now anyway, you're trapped in this story. So turn this story into a favorable story and awaken your Krishna consciousness. Modern leaders have no idea. For them, development means what? See, you cannot be without development. Every ruler will say, I want development, development, development. What is their development? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending development. Isn't it not? There are some people who are poor. Poor in what? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Social equality. Some people are having more for eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Some people are starving. We need equality. Social equity. And they bring that, rich is becoming richer, poor is becoming poorer. Some adjustment they do. Wow, what adjustment? It's all due to karma. If you don't know the law of karma, you cannot make any poor man rich. We know a poor man can become rich simply by follow secrets of laws of karma. He may be a beggar in this life, but if he chants Hare Krishna next, he will be a billionaire in next life. So Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is the highest welfare activity materially and spiritually. Materially may not, so what? Let him be patient till he dies. One life is nothing. Next he will get a nice life. Because of practicing Krishna consciousness, all his bad karma is gone. So materially also, spiritually also. That we have to understand. And that is where this statement is very important. Thus one can become fortunate. Fortunate means what? Good karma. You can earn good karma. One can become fortunate and enjoy a blissful life even within this material world. Dukhalayam ashashvatam, no doubt. That is an absolute statement. But now, even temporary sukha dukkha, you are not able to succeed. Because you do not know the laws of karma. You do papa karma. The word vidanti refers to one who knows something or enjoys something. See? The soul is kshetrajna, knower and enjoyer of the experiences. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in a class you had mentioned that soul does not a thinking, feeling, willing. It adopts the... So this thinking, feeling, willing is the intrinsic property of the soul. How do we understand this?
It is an intrinsic property of the soul, but it is all being done by three modes of material nature in the field. Just like watching a movie, you are only the knower of thinking, feeling, willing going on in the screen. But in the screen itself, there is no thinking, feeling, willing. There is no spirit. Right? But your thinking, feeling, willing is fully influenced by that. So, three modes of material nature does not think, feel and will. Just like artificial intelligence is not intelligent. Isn't it? Only a living person is intelligent. But artificial intelligence can make an intelligent man very intelligent. Right? So artificial intelligence modifies his intelligence. Oh, I have a question, you ask, it gives. It gives the answer not because it is intelligent. You are the intelligent person who will now utilize that artificial intelligence. So similarly, the mental body is an emotional body. Manas, buddhi, ahankara. The intelligence is part of the intellectual body. This body, there is a physical body, there is an emotional body, there is an intellectual body, there is an ego body, and the soul identifies itself with this ego, this emotional body, etc., etc. He identifies. That's why prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasya ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. So that's how detachment comes. I am giving decisions, no doubt. This thinking, that thinking, you are giving decision. Content, this content and that content. This content you convert into your thinking, that content you convert into your thinking, or this content you convert into your feeling, that content you see. So you see the content of feelings and you choose, oh, I like to be angry, I don't want to be angry. But anger is all generated by the three modes of material nature. And then you be angry or not be angry is your choice. Which you are choosing. Because not being angry is also another feeling. So the soul stands aloof from the material nature, but he is impacting this screen with his will. That's why it's an interactive movie. He is impacting that with his will. Any other question? Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.